All right, let's move on to the game that everybody is talking about: the Colts versus the Raiders. This is the first game for Jeff Saturday, who was on ESPN earlier this week, and now he is the head coach of the Colts. We'll see how he does. Can't get much worse for the Colts. On the other side, the Raiders just can't seem to catch a break. They have two star players that have moved to the IR. What are you thinking with this game? Indianapolis underdogs here, plus 185 on the money line if you're feeling risky. Vegas minus 225. Spread 4.5, favoring the Raiders. Over under 41.5. We have seen a dip in these lines as well with the injured players. I believe it's Waller and Renfro, that both moved to the IR. So huge blow for Carr and this offense. What do you think of this game?
I love the Colts. This is my
You love the
favorite bet of.
Colts. Let's go, Jeff
Yeah,
Saturday.
yep, yeah. How do you not? Did you see him in that press conference? Talking about
It was
how.
very Ted Lasso, right? It was very Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
I've been hearing that that all things are not well in that locker room with this decision and with the coaching staff, but we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, really? So the players are not happy with the hire?
There was someone that came on Sportsline last night, Jason LaConfora, and he's one of our NFL insiders. And he had said that he has heard and that he knows that the locker room is kind of unhappy with the decision, as is the coaching staff. Now, the coaching staff makes a lot of sense because they've got head coaches that head coaching experienced coaches in that locker room that or in that coaching staff that didn't get the. I think that the Colts are tanking, but this is still kind of a fun game, I think, and it's a good spot for the Colts maybe to get a win here. So tell me why you're high on the Colts.
Yeah, so over the last 20 seasons, 33 teams have fired their coach mid-season. Those teams are 15-8 straight up and 17-6 against the spread in the following game. And, that may not sound like 15-18 straight up, by the way. Sorry, I misspoke there. And that may not sound, 15-18 and 17-6. Those numbers are not jumping out at you like, wow, I got a ride here. But when you consider how poor they played prior to firing the coach, those teams were 90, 236, and 3 straight up, and 121, 202, and 5 against the spread prior to firing the coaches. So a drastic difference prior and following firing those head coaches. We saw it this year with the Panthers. They fired Matt Rule. They come out the next week and they beat the Bucs outright as like 13 or 14-point underdogs.
Right.
Raiders 4-8 against the spread when they're coming home from a road game with Derek Carr as their quarterback. We've seen the Raiders blow 3 17 or bigger leads this year to go on and lose the game. Just look at what happened last week. Up 17-0. They blow that game to the lowly Jaguars. I'm not high on the Raiders. I don't think McDaniels is a great coach. I think he's a great coordinator, offensive guru. But we've seen it with the Broncos and now with the Raiders. For whatever reason, he just can't really get it done. Maybe he's not a leader of men like you got to be when you're coaching the NFL. But yeah, I like the Colts a lot in this spot, especially with the spread. I'll probably sprinkle the money line here. So yeah, give me the Colts here with the points.
You talk about the Raiders blowing huge leads in the first half. They're just -3 in the first half. That's at -110 on Caesars. That might be an interesting bet for the first half. I'm going to lay off this game. Look, I'm excited to watch this game. You couldn't have paid me to watch this game probably a couple weeks ago. But now I just want to see how Jeff Saturday does, what this team looks like. I'm probably going to lay off it. However, I would lean under on this one. And I'm looking at a Devontae Adams prop as well. The under is a league best with the Colts at 8-1. They are the first team to go under the total in 8 of the first 9 games since the 2017 Steelers. No Waller, no Renfro, both on IR. Huge blow to Carr and the offense. So that kind of leads me to Devontae Adams. He's won the number 1 target too. Now he's kind of like the only target. So he has a team leading 658 receiving yards, averaging about 82.3 per game, 48 receptions, 85 targets. His prop for yards is at 81.5. So, I might fire on a Devontae Adams prop, but I mostly just want to watch this game for the entertainment value.
Yeah, I want to ask you something. So you kind of alluded to, you think the Colts are tanking, right? And it makes sense. Like they got nothing to play for at this point. Why wouldn't you? You clearly need a quarterback. Is that something that you like really consider often when you're betting on these games? If you think a team is tanking or not? Because, we saw with the Dolphins, the owner was trying to pay the coach to lose the game. So it's got to be something that as bettors we have to think about, right?
It definitely is. And I feel like tanking is not something that I think of necessarily for football. I think for NBA, it's a lot more obvious. And you can see when that's happening. Like, we didn't find out about what was happening in Miami until after and the
Right.
lawsuit that, he was trying to pay. But this to me, like hiring an ESPN analyst that is in your, ring of honor and is a great player and, a consultant on the team. I don't know what the extent of the consulting was, that you pick him as your head coach over people on your staff that have head coaching experience or even just coaching experience. I believe that Jeff Saturday only coached a high school team with a losing season for 1 year.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you look at this and say that this owner is trying to win games? How do you look at it that way? I just, it's hard for me. But again, excited to see it. And if
Yeah.
Jeff Saturday comes out with a big win, then I'll be kind of excited about it. And again, we'll crown you as the Oracle for 2 weeks in a row.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.